Hey, welcome to our first, oh my God, that's a start. Yeah, first meeting today. Our public meeting. As you can see, it's a morning meeting. I still did not wake up, even though it's 10 a.m. for me. We don't have many people on the call. There's Maciej, a regular contributor, and we have a new guest, Ines from Solas. So welcome, Ines.
Thank you. Good morning.
And we so that's a pretty small group. I think recently these calls on in mornings are not so crowded as the ones we have in the afternoons every second week. I guess we need to start monitoring it if it's now it's holidays, so it might be a reason. But if it's gonna continue next weeks, maybe we should consider actually going back into the afternoon calls only. Let's see. So there's nothing in the agenda for today except of me pushing forward topic of the conference, and that's why Ines is here as well. So unless Maciej, you have some different topic you want to cover, I'm gonna jump right into the conference.
Nope, I don't.
Okay, cool. But still, thank you for being here. So we don't feel
You're
that
welcome.
alone. So first things first, let me share a link. So if you didn't read the blog post, if you didn't see any previous messages I shared for the last couple of weeks, we will have a hackathon and conference AsyncAPI related. I'm sharing now in the chat a link to the blog post with a short summary. So the hackathon will take place in October. And the conference will take place in November, 3 days of November. The October, it's gonna be like entire October. We're just trying to mimic what we saw in different communities if it comes to the hackathons. So it's not anymore a weekend, 48 hours exhausting hackathon, but rather a month-long event that anybody can participate in as long as they want, depending on the idea they have. We saw it already in Dev2 community. We saw it also Postman doing it. So it's definitely worth trying to do it with AsyncAPI. And it's October because it's also a time for Hacktoberfest. So why not connect it together? If somebody wants to make first contribution to open source, maybe better to do it during Hacktoberfest with some AsyncAPI project in a hackathon. Then November, those 3 days in the middle of November, first day is going to be purely for contributors and maintainers. So it's if you're familiar with Kubernetes, CNCF, like any CNCF project that has a community, you can notice something called like Contributor Summit. So it's always a day that is purely dedicated to contributions, to onboarding of new contributors, explaining how to contribute to a specific project, or showcasing a given project to the potential contributors so they can see what is it about and where help is needed. So because we still are trying to figure out how to onboard contributors to our projects, that's the best moment to do it. So the conference and the first day will be purely about it. So a set of presentations about how to kick off with contributions, showcasing of few projects, and definitely showcasing of the work of the students from Google Summer of Code. And then 2 days will follow with presentations depending on the proposals. So that's a short summary from my side about those events. There's a lot of things to do. And last but not least, if it comes to updates from my side, like last year we did this event, because last year we had AsyncAPI conference as well, and we did it like on our own, like fully on our own. It was me, Fran, and Eva, and we were just using all the free available tools possible. CFP, like call for proposals, was done. Like people were sending us emails, we were storing them in some files. So it was cool as long as we were just a small community. But long term, such things as like storing emails and handling the process and involving also other people in selecting proposals. So the people that select proposals, they also have access to this private information. Once we are now in the Linux Foundation, we should make sure that the process is as legal as technically it's possible. So we should no longer for CFP use just some Excel sheets that we share with other people. There should be some kind of system behind it. So if it comes to this whole process of getting proposals and setting up a schedule, I have some discussions with Linux Foundation because they have already a know-how for it. They have platform for it, which is already pretty good. They use it for different Linux Foundation events. So might be that we will end up using their system. As far as I remember, it's just $2,000 bucks. So we will be easily able to cover it with the sponsor money once we get sponsors, but we didn't figure that out yet. And last but not least, the platform where we do the event. I'm experimenting now with BV. Linux Foundation gave us access to BV. They have a license for all the different communities they have at Linux Foundation, and we don't have to pay for it at all, which makes it super cool for us to have like a professional platform to host an event. And the cool stuff about it is that we can use it not only for the conference, we're going to use it like for this public meetings and other meetings, probably. Let's see. They already have a built-in system for tickets like RSVP, where we can also show speakers, moderators, sponsors. So a kind of landing page for the event. And next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so starting from tomorrow, I already created a test event, like a coffee with AsyncAPI community. I sent you another link in the chat. So this is like purely to test the platform for 3 days. I'm just going to show up in different times there for 1 hour, so anybody from the community can join and talk about AsyncAPI. And at the same time, I'm gonna test how these things work in BV. So that's it if it comes to my update, like platform, CFP, like overall structure of the event. And yeah, so like we need a lot of help. And I know that like Ines purely joined for the meeting because of the event. So yeah, now it's a time for questions.
Yeah, Lukasz, maybe just quick comments from me. So thanks for inviting me. I reached out because my colleague Mark De Pasquale, you probably have been in contact with, mentioned the conference and the hackathon you're planning. I'm working for Solus here in Europe, and I'm responsible for marketing in Europe. So where I could help and support you is from an organizational point of view, setting up the event, sponsorship opportunities, testing the platform from a sponsor's point of view. I would say this is where I would have a lot of experience, obviously, since we were owning, hosting, and participating many events in the past years. And then obviously from a Solus point of view, we would be interested to sponsor or even co-host the event if possible. So that's why I'm here talking to you, and yeah, and as you mentioned, you have a platform. I definitely will join the test event to see, because I don't know, we have worked with many other platforms, but this is new to me as well. But where I definitely can help, and I can offer you my help, is from an organizational point of view, as I mentioned, testing the platform, the sponsorship opportunities, how to acquire sponsors, etc. Right?
So these are the perfect areas where we definitely need help, like how to organize these discussions with sponsors.
Yeah.
Like setting up the tiers for sponsors, etc. So
exactly. So I mean, my experience really based on my job role, right? Marketing. So I'm working for Solus here, and I'm working on different events in Europe. So that's why I learned a lot from other organizers, I would say. Hopefully this can be beneficial to you. And as I said, I mean, Solus would be interested to sponsor or even co-host if that's an option. I mean, as far as I feel it here, there's still, everything is open. So maybe we can discuss this at a later stage. Yeah, but I definitely will join the test event to see the platform, because I think this is really good that you have a platform from a sponsor's perspective, right? And also from an attendee's perspective. Gives a little bit more structure and a better format, right?
Yeah, definitely. So this week the testing takes place on, like, so tomorrow it's at 5 p.m.
Our time here in Europe.
Yeah, CEST, yeah. Or GMT plus 2 or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, CST, 5 p.m. Then on Thursday it's let me have a look. I don't remember because I set it up yesterday.
Is it 5 p.m. every day?
No, not. So on the first day, it's 5. On the second day, oh, something changed in the configuration. I wanted to make it as flexible as possible for different hours. So I remember that Thursday was 5, Friday was 11, and I think the Thursday was 4 p.m. Again, like GMT plus 1, so Europe Warsaw time. I'll make sure that it's probably like it's clearly visible on the schedule, but that was the
so I could join if it's 4 p.m. Thursday. I definitely can.
Okay, cool. So we definitely have to sync after the call. I'm gonna get your email, and if you're, I mean, because we don't have many people participating like actively in organization, rather as like consultants and giving ideas. So I'd like to make sure that, like, if you're open to support, I'd like to invite you already to the platform, if that's okay for you.
Sure.
Okay, so let's handle it after the call then. Okay. Any other questions then? And we definitely need support in ideas for marketing. So that's, we're gonna also use it.
I'm happy to help where I can.
Cool. Anybody else? Any comments? Okay, so I'm just gonna make a list. So first of all, invite Ines and make it clear about schedule for test. Also, we have a discussion discussion started on community repo. I'm going to send you a link as well to it. And those discussions, they are mainly about the website, conference tracks, swags, and marketing. But I guess it would also make sense, just paste the link. Oh yeah, I see that Sergio already posted a link to the discussion. Yeah, so there's a dedicated category in our discussions forum, like one for marketing, one for website, one for conference track, one for swag. But I think it makes sense to have a separate one about the sponsorship and the tiers. This part, I mean, so I'm always pushing for 100% transparency with everything. But if it comes to money, it's always I always think twice about these things. So how do you think, if it comes to this discussion about what tiers we should have and the amount of money that we should expect from the sponsors, do you think especially also for the sponsors, do you think we should have this purely on AsyncAPI community discussions, this discussion about the tiers, or rather just in Slack for those that are the most interested? So the community that is in the Slack, so we can openly discuss it in the Slack channel, but we should avoid super public discussion about tiers on public. Do you feel it should be separated, or because I have mixed feelings here? What's your opinion here?
I mean, from an experience point of view, I mean, in terms of the costs of sponsorship, I wouldn't do it too publicly. Obviously, between the organizers, so your core community, I would say, who's in organizing this, should decide, what kind of money you need for the different tiers, or you want. But I'm not a big expert on your community and what kind of people are in there and how you do things. But just my feeling would be I wouldn't include too many. I wouldn't do it too publicly. The decision.
Yeah. So basically, it works like this event and any other events. In general, AsyncAPI is part of Linux Foundation. We don't. We don't need sponsorship money for I don't know, investment into AsyncAPI. Mm-hmm. The idea is to purely to pay for the organization, and also to invest in the community that actively took part in the event. So sponsorship money will be, I don't know, to cover the Linux Foundation platform for CFP, mm-hmm. to cover marketing, to cover the prices that we want to have for hackathon participants. Also, last year we were giving out swags for presenters, so mm-hmm. because they took time to present on AsyncAPI conference, so we wanted to give some gifts back. So we also had it was a $50 to spend for each presenter in our swag shop. So we had this type of expenses. So so they are not. So that's why on one hand, I'm thinking we should not make it public on community repo, but on the other hand, it's really purely money that the money we discuss about is money that we will give away anyway to the community. So that's why I was I'm not 100% sure on the because on the other hand, we don't do any investment in me or whoever, but it's purely to get and give back, give away, or just pay for the costs. Sergio, you raised the hand, so you want to say something?
Yeah. So wouldn't make sense first to have a budget for that, like a clear budget that we can publish, because budget is something that would probably help us to know the amount of money we need, right? And also thanks to that, so you can just show this to sponsors and it's pretty clear for what they are paying. So the same you said right now, we are gonna have swag, we are gonna pay for platform, whatever. If you put this public, I mean, why not? Perhaps more people, even more sponsors will join.
Yeah, actually, that's what we did last year. So we were purely like, whenever we talked to the sponsors, we were clearly saying that it's where the money go. So like how much money we spend on the swags, on the marketing. We had a special fundraiser on Open Collective. So every expense, if I was paying for some Twitter or LinkedIn marketing, advertising, it was clearly visible where the money went. Everything was invoiced. So that was public anyway. So the spendings will be public. So why not make it also public, the budget as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, then I guess that the best would be like, because the problem with writing down the budget is that I just know half of the costs for now. So maybe so I'm gonna, after the call, maybe start a discussion, open discussion in the community forum. Let's call it budget. I will write the costs that I am aware of, like this platform from Linux Foundation. I will make some suggestions, like how much we should spend on prices for hackathon, and then like others, especially you, Ines, with your experience in marketing, like if you could like make some suggestions, like optimal costs we should spend on marketing, more or less where we could invest sponsor money, and that therefore more or less how much it's going to cost. Okay. So yeah, let's first try to gather costs and then see how we can start collecting money. Okay, cool. Thanks, Erica. To make a note for myself. Any other questions, topic you think?
Yeah, sorry, coming back to the same topic very quickly, I think, okay, so you're gonna have some public information about where the money is gonna go, but should we also say what we are gonna offer to sponsors, like publicly? What's the package?
Yeah. So it's, I think that once we discuss budget, and like if budget discussion is public, and then our spendings will be public because of how we spend money on Open Collective, because it all has to be public, then this tier discussion, I think it can be public as well. Anyway, it has to be public because that's usually how the conferences, that's how we did it as well last year. So we were clearly saying, okay, if you're on tier 2, it means that your logo will be visible on the landing page. We're gonna also make it visible in the platform whenever people watch the recording. So that should be public as well, this discussion, what you get.
That definitely needs to be public, so that the sponsors can decide, what they would like to invest in, and what their benefits are basically for the money they spend.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Good.
But yeah, I think that best. Not sure what you think. Do you think we can discuss those things in parallel, like budget and what we can offer to sponsors, or we should wait first for the budget?
I think you could start discussing it in parallel,
Okay.
because like putting a logo on a website or so doesn't really cost additional money, I would say, right? So it wouldn't affect the budget dramatically, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Or giving another, for the conference, for instance, giving another speaking slot also in the agenda doesn't cost you additional money, so it doesn't affect the overall budget. It just makes a difference on the tier level for the different sponsors, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And there's a question from Ace. Yes, the conference, it's free, totally free. Like last year, it's going to be free this time. The only difference from last time, like last time we were doing live stream to YouTube. And like, so you didn't even have to register. The challenge for us was that we did not take any advantage of this. We did not really know who joined the conference, who was watching the conference, and could not follow up with people. So the advice, and like over my last experience I have as like running community, and also advice from other people that do it, especially from Linux Foundation, is that we at least need some kind of registration that people say, okay, I'm gonna join, and that's it.
That's what because you said you didn't have the opportunity to follow up, and I think this is a big thing for sponsors as well these days. Obviously, they want to get value out for money, and value in these terms mostly is business and the opportunity to follow up with people. The good thing is with if you're working with a platform and they have to register, just check if there is an opportunity or an option to opt in. So for the attendees, that they can make a decision: do I want to have a follow-up conversation if needed, right? So they can tick the box, and then you can offer to the sponsors as well the data, I would say, for people who have opted in. That will be another benefit you can put into the sponsorship packages if you use the platform and there's the opportunity and the option to opt in for the attendees.
Okay.
Right, so that they can follow up.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check in the platform if when I was setting RSVP for this test event, if I had option like this.
Yeah, because of GDPR, I think, right? Especially in Europe, that's they're very sensitive, GDPR sensitive.
Yeah, but also, but I don't think it is. I don't think, but yeah, I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Yeah, I see the question. Sharing data, is that a really good idea? I know that's always a question. That's why I say, if for events using a platform like Bevi or Hopin or whatever, there's a lot of platforms out there. Obviously, from a sponsor's perspective, I can just tell you the sponsor's perspective. This is most of the time a good thing. If you sponsor an event, you have a presentation and maybe a workshop or some discussions with people, to have the opportunity to follow up. And because of GDPR and the data privacy rules here in Europe and globally, this is key to be checked, right, before we propose something like this in a sponsorship package.
Like from our perspective, from AsyncAPI community perspective, the most important is that we, through the registration, which anyway it means like it's still for free, but through the registration we make people join our platform that we want to use also for other meetings in the future, and therefore it's going to be like easier to follow up with the community. Like, okay, there's another event, they're going to be already in our pool of
I'm talking sponsors view here, right? So if you go out and acquire sponsors, and that could be the case that they are coming back to you saying, look, okay, I'm sponsoring this event for X amount of money. Do I get the data, right? Do I get the contact data to follow up with people? Or, you know, if I have a presentation in my sponsorship package, do I get the data of the people who attended the session? And that's what is normally covered by opt-in. It's called opt-in in marketing terms. So people, when they register, have to click a box saying, I'm okay with, you know, that the organizer is sharing my data with the sponsors and they can follow up with me. So they will be asked, and the attendees have the option to select yes or no, right? So they would know before because they make the decision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But just to make sure, like to answer A's concerns, like by default, we for sure will not share any data with anyone.
Yeah, I know. You know, but it could be, the question could be, if you go out and acquire sponsors, can we follow up with the people, you know?
I mean, that's definitely one of the, like, that's going to be tier 5. Which will be the most
but
expensive.
still you have to ask the people, then the attendees have to say yes to that, right? And that's why I'm saying it's good if you have a platform, because most of those platforms give the opportunity in the RSVP process to select, right? So you are on the safe side as the organizer in terms of data privacy.
That's one thing I'm gonna have to check in the platform. Plus, I will definitely have to check with Linux Foundation, because like legally, AsyncAPI brand and all that stuff belongs to Linux Foundation, so they have to be aware of all those like sensitive topics. But yeah, I'm gonna check with them then.
Just a comment. I mean, as I said, I'm from outside here, so I'm not really an expert on your specifics, and just maybe it's not needed, but this is just check it.
Yeah, but it's actually a good point. I agree. It's like when you go to a real conference in a physical place, like not a virtual one, and so lately they implemented some mechanisms like QR codes to share with the sponsors, right, to get your contact.
Yeah.
Because we are not in there, so we have to enable some mechanisms if we really want to do that. Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Ace, does it answer your concerns, what we were just saying? I hope so. I mean, I guess that we will anyway follow up on this topic when we will discuss the tiers, because it's going to show up on one of the ideas what we can offer. So the discussion is not definitely closed. Okay, so just to summarize, I'm gonna invite you, Ines, to the platform. We'll make sure that the test schedule that starts tomorrow, it's gonna be like clear what hours do we do it, so others can join. And yeah, now I remember, Thursday it's 4 p.m. because it's normally at 4 p.m. on Thursday we have like unofficial coffee break in the community.
That works.
So some people can join. So we're gonna have a group of people for the testing. Now I'm gonna start discussion on the budget, so we can discuss it. Start the discussion about the tiers and the sponsorship, what we can offer in exchange for the support, and we'll check out the GDPR and like in general issues with private data related to the registration and giving it away to the sponsors. Looks good so far. Anything else you think? and from the like sponsorship thingy and the marketed thingy, the most important for now is hackathon, because it's in 1 month. And even though events are connected in the way that we want to announce the winners of the hackathon on the conference and also give them a platform to showcase the winning projects, I think we can try to separate them, maybe have sponsors only for one event, sponsors for both events, also have it as a part of the tiers, maybe, that if like have a kind of promotion for the sponsors, that if they, like, let's say they pay 1K for an event for hackathon and 1K for a conference, but if they want to be sponsors in both, then we have some discount for them. So we can, like, when we will start discussions now on the budget and the tiers, take into consideration that we can treat those as separate events, even though they are so close to each other because they are connected. Okay, so because there are no other other topics on the agenda, I think we covered pretty a lot if it comes to the hackathon and conference. So I would say the last call for questions, comments.
All good.
Awesome. Okay, so thanks a lot to all of you for joining. I'll follow up with my notes shortly after the call. Anyone, like, now call for others watching the recording, anyone wants to join and help out organizing the event, please just let us know what you want, and we're open for any help, as you can see. Thank you.
Thanks,
And
Lukasz.
cheers, bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Yeah.